What up, YouTube? Here with a post-fight video of the Brian Mendoza versus Sebastian Fundora fight. Now, before I give y'all the summary of what happened in the fight, I'm going to tell y'all the results first. Brian Mendoza was able to win this fight via 7th round knockout. Now, this is how the fight went. Sebastian Fundora, he was doing very well prior to him getting knocked out. I had the fight score prior to the knockout 5 rounds to 1 in favor of Sebastian Fundora. I only gave the opening round to Brian Mendoza, and the beginning round, usually it be for both fighters, the process of feeling each other out and getting warmed up for the remainder of the fight. And the only reason why I gave the first round to Brian Mendoza was because Mendoza was doing a good job at maneuvering throughout the ring and reading the distance better than Fundora was. Then the following round, that's when Sebastian Fundora started to outwork Brian Mendoza and was able to time Brian Mendoza and was able to catch Brian Mendoza coming in. And whenever Brian Mendoza would be at a close range to the lengthy and very tall Sebastian Fundora, this is what makes him such a dangerous fighter, is because he is a volume puncher and he knows how to work on the inside, and he's very good at utilizing his frame to his advantage when it comes to the sport of boxing, and that's a good technical ability to have, and Sebastian Fundora possesses that ability. And Brian Mendoza, he was very aggressive in this fight, and he was very ballsy in this fight, very risk-taking in this fight. He was head on, and he did not show any hesitation when it came to closing that gap with him and Sebastian Fundora, making sure that reach advantage that Sebastian Fundora had over him wasn't a factor to this fight. And not only was Sebastian Fundora able to outland and outwork Brian Mendoza on the inside, he had the advantage on the outside as well, as he was able to utilize his reach and height advantage, as whenever Brian Mendoza would charge in head forward, Sebastian Fundora was able to catch him and time him and counter his aggression and his attempt at closing that range with him and Fundora, with Fundora utilizing that jab of his. And he was very accurate when he would counter Mendoza from the outer range. And Sebastian Fundora, he slipped up at the opening of the 7th round when he threw a lazy jab when Brian Mendoza was marching in forward, and he was able to step under the jab of Sebastian Fundora and throw a overhand counter left hook to catch Sebastian Fundora with a devastating shot. And Sebastian Fundora had his backhand down, not guarding his head, and that's why that punch was able to land on Fundora so cleanly, and that left Sebastian Fundora at a delirious state on his feet. And then Brian Mendoza was able to finish him off with a following straight right hand that floored Sebastian Fundora, and Sebastian Fundora wasn't able to answer the referee's 10 count, and then that called for a end of the bout. And this was quite a upset of a win on Brian Mendoza's part, because many people were expecting Sebastian Fundora to put on yet another impressive performance as a next potential challenger for the undisputed super welterweight title. Sebastian Fundora has been a long-time contender, and well past the stage of being a prospect. He's been talked about as a potential threat to Charlo's undisputed super welterweight crown. He's held the WBC interim super welterweight title for quite a while now. And what he was doing prior to the knockout versus Brian Mendoza in this fight, people was expecting Sebastian Fundora to keep on continuing that kind of performance for the rest of the fight, to build to his resume and his momentum to step up and challenge one day versus the undisputed super welterweight champion, that being Jermell Charlo. And Sebastian Fundora, him or Tim Tszyu, has been the two most talked about top contenders at super welterweight that could give Jermell Charlo a good fight for his super welterweight undisputed title. And now this sets back Sebastian Fundora a step down amongst the ranks when it comes to the top contenders at super welterweight. And Tim Tszyu, who was supposed to be next in line to challenge for the undisputed super welterweight title, as y'all know, that fight with Tszyu and Charlo been postponed because Charlo has got a hand injury during the training camp for the fight that was coming up with Charlo and Tszyu. And that's why Tszyu took on a replacement opponent in Tony Harrison a few months ago. And Tszyu had a impressive performance, and it was a good look on Tszyu when he got that win over Harrison. And now he's looking like he's ready, and he's got good momentum in his favor heading into that fight for the undisputed super welterweight title. And as far as Sebastian Fundora goes, he's probably going to get another fight versus Brian Mendoza because of how well he was doing before he got knocked out. That's why I think there's going to be an immediate rematch with Sebastian Fundora and Brian Mendoza. And there's Brian Castano, there's Tony Harrison, and names like that that's well noticeable. Arislandi Lara, there's Herring. Well, Herring's been kind of on the decline as of late. And anyways, there's Arislandi Lara, as I said, Brian Castano, there's Tony Harrison, and there's other recognizable names when it comes to the super welterweight division if there isn't gonna be an immediate rematch with Sebastian Fundora and Brian Mendoza. However, I think because of all the momentum that Sebastian Fundora has built, that's why I think with him having the name that he has and the performance that he was putting on prior to him getting knocked out, I think that's why there's going to be a rematch versus Brian Mendoza for his next fight. And that's what I think of what took place in this fight with Sebastian Fundora and Brian Mendoza. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all opinions are from what y'all saw in this fight with Sebastian Fundora and Brian Mendoza. Comment, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And that does it for this post-fight video. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.